Our today's achiever on Vichikodi Katte is the eldest among 25 cousins, and he says, the elder ones grow up a little faster, they get a little wiser. The elders tend to be people who break on new grounds and take on challenges. True to his words, his formative years and experiences have culminated in a business conglomerate with businesses diversified into telecommunications, e-commerce, multi-level marketing, and so on. An enterprising wizard with spiritual wonders, Dato Vijay graduated with a social economics degree from the London School of Economics in 1984, and he obtained his MBA from the Southern Illinois University in 1986. He did several odd jobs, including working on a construction site in Belgium, plucking grapes in France, and driving a cab in London. A highly acclaimed speaker, Dato Vijay has spoken at leading universities, management and business leadership forums, including the Commonwealth Business Forum of the 2007 Chogam in Uganda. In the following interview, Dr. Vijay, the executive chairman of QI Group, shares his secret to success and his passion for spiritual, art, culture, language, and his collection of swords and daggers. So you started your own multi-level marketing business, which is now standing at 6 million members. So could you share with us your experience with the concept of merging three different industries into one, which are traditional MLM, multi-level marketing, direct selling, and e-commerce?
There were actually a few of us at the time that started this, so I cannot lay claim to being the sole founder. There were a group of us. The first group, there were at least 4 of us who began with the concept and the idea, and then after that we kind of developed into a second circle that came to about an additional 12 people or so. My own expertise is in IT, and I came with the IT background. My primary experience was in evolving that platform. However, when I was a student in the States and in the UK, I had participated very actively in the concept of network marketing, otherwise known as MLM here locally. 96, I started again being involved in the sense, and Causeway, which is a local company here, was opening up in the Philippines, and I was invited alongside with a few other people to be part of that process. So I was part of the initial opening up of the Causeway network in the Philippines, and within the first 8 months or so, we had garnered a good maybe 50,000 people in our network already, and that was just my own network.
Oh, wow.
So, which my wife and I developed. So that was so much more attractive than working 9 to 5. Then I decided that it's about time that this platform, this network marketing industry needs to evolve, needs to move on into the arena of e-commerce. With my own background in IT, I sat down with a few other people. We discussed the options of amalgamating e-commerce. But before we could even really develop anything of this nature, an American company came along with the proper plans, and blueprint in mind. So we basically adapted that and improved upon it. And then we decided to start this ourselves. So I moved from Manila to Hong Kong.
So when the opportunity came, there was an opportunity that was brought about wherein we needed to set up our own multi-level marketing at that time. My partnership with him was already there, and I just did whatever that was needed, from opening up, doors, getting application forms from our customers. We did pretty much everything from the very beginning. And our relationship in terms of partnership was only brought about, meaning it was made into black and white. This was like after 2 years, when the lawyers came in, they put everything on paper. But from the very beginning, our partnership was just pretty much on the handshake. I trusted him. Like, I didn't care what he was going to give me at all, But he's such a very fair person that, he shared with me equally what was deserving for me at that time. Although I didn't realize that I deserved it. I felt I didn't deserve it because I just did what I had to do at that time.
Hong Kong was logically a good place to be because it is probably arguably one of the freest economies on the planet even till today, and it is an international city in every sense of the word. But I also believe very strongly in the fact that in every crisis there is an opportunity. All right, so there was two things happening at the time. One was the handover of Hong Kong from Great Britain to China, and at the same time there was the internet bubble burst that happened in '97. A combination of these two things resulted in a lot of people fleeing Hong Kong in '98. So it actually made it possible for us to move into Hong Kong, which is a very expensive location otherwise, and start in a very good location and hire people, because there were a lot of people without jobs at the time. So we needed that. So that gave us a tremendous edge. So we moved in when everyone moved out. And that's always been our practice to date.
be smarter, I need to be faster, I need to live. If only I was too slow. We don't learn from our mistakes. Sleep is something that only gets in the way. There's one thing that you also need to know. Nobody does anything alone.
What would be the essence of business? Networking is in service. Service is about giving, not taking.
It has to come from here. Our excellence in service. We will never fail. Just in an instant, everything has changed.
Do you want to remain where you are?
You cannot get one without giving the other.
What kind of challenges did you face?
Because we didn't go out there and get any, help from anyone. We didn't get a loan. There was no friendly godfather to help us out. It was just us, our own funds, and a lot of guts, and a lot of willingness, and a lot of spirit, a lot of daring, determination, and devotion to our idea. Initially, there was a fact that we had a few thousand people who joined us in a previous company, the one that I said went defunct. And they were left with nowhere to go. It was our purpose to ensure that at least these people would be taken care of. So we set the company up with the intention of making it work and then handing it over to a bunch of professionals. The first part happened, the second part hasn't happened yet. We're still running it after 12 years. But their purpose was to make sure that the people who believed in us, who trusted in us, and that they would be well and taken care of. So there was no it was an altruistic motive. There wasn't any feeling of going out there and making big bucks or anything of that nature. We just pursued one objective after another.
In our core business, in our e-commerce marketing business, the main concept that Dato wanted to share with everyone was creating global entrepreneurs. And what he did was he brought an opportunity to the average person out there, gave someone who had nothing an opportunity to build himself, build his family into a successful global business. And we have successfully created many millionaires around the world. And it was Dato who made it possible because he believed when we did not believe, and it's sometimes difficult to believe when you don't have anything, but if you have faith and work really hard, okay, anything is possible, and I think we are proof of that as a group and Dato as an individual.
And I joined this business 9 to 10 years back, and I started from Sudan. Currently, the QNet is almost covering 2/3 of Africa, because QNet as a network marketing company with the uniqueness QNet that have is exactly the suitable type of business that can suit Africa during these times specifically.
Hari ini saya telah memiliki satu kebebasan masa dan saya boleh berbelanja lebih daripada yang selalunya. Dan hari ini saya mempunyai kereta idaman saya, rumah idaman saya, dan saya boleh berjumpa dengan family saya setiap masa. Kan? Jadi saya tidak dikawal lagi oleh keadaan. Jadi tentang pandangan saya tentang Dato' Vijay Eswaran pula, ya, dia ni seorang yang amat hebat bagi saya lah. Kan? Beliau seorang orang Malaysia yang boleh membuka mata dunia, kan? Membuka mata dunia tentang ekonomi. Kan? Beliau ni memang adalah mentor, boleh kata master mentor lah. Saya memang bangga dengan beliau ni.
Well, our purpose actually is not product related. The business itself is not about the product but the modality. We believe in e-commerce being a fabulous platform, where the supermarket reaches the world. We saw globalization in the global village as being something that was completely positive. A world without boundaries. To be able to buy a product on the internet, have it made in Germany, shipped out to Hong Kong and delivered to you in Ghana or Kenya or Malaysia to your doorstep. That is the vision that it was built upon. And to us, that is still happening. It is still what we are doing today. So in order to achieve this, we had to set up courier companies to make sure products actually reach your doorstep. We had to set up, one of the best ways to control quality was what we call backward integration, where we basically initially start off with a supplier or distributor, and then when the product looks like it is something that the customers want, then we go back and either buy over the company or merge with the company or find a way, take a position in that company so we can control our supply. So in the case of, say, watches, for instance, when we decided to do watches, we realized that it was a very powerful product and one where quality becomes critically important. So we decided to buy our own Swiss watch company, becoming one of the few Malaysians, if at all, that owns a Swiss watch company.
Dato, Vijay!
Your goal is to get across.
You need to be there. That's where you learn. If you're in a burning building and you had to jump, you don't think twice. To allow you to learn the most, if you allow yourself. I'm going to learn, it's going to be fun, and they will add this to another one, and another one, and another one, and they will change. And when they change, they will change the world that we live in.
Dato, why have you moved a great part of your backroom operations to Malaysia?
That actually came about because of a chance meeting I had with Pala, our former Prime Minister. We were the people who brought Disney on Ice. One of our subsidiaries is an entertainment arm, and that kept bringing a lot of shows to Malaysia, and one of them was Disney on Ice, which we have been doing now for about 5 or 6 years. So Pala used to be one of the regular attendees of this particular show because of all his grandchildren loved it. So on a number of occasions I was fortunate enough to meet with him. And a few years ago he basically said, inquired more about the group, what we're doing in Hong Kong, all over the world, and he says, why don't you come back? So I said, no, we haven't started yet. At that moment, there were a few ministers around with him in attendance. So he turned around and he spoke to the Minister of Domestic Trade. He says, let us bring, we need to bring back Malaysians who are doing well abroad. And so he was very convincing. And so I went back, and this time we actually did a study, and it was technically feasible for us to move. And so we applied for the Global Operations Headquarters license with NIDA, and we got that. It gives us a few tax breaks and a few benefits. So based on that, I moved a lot of our operations, consolidated them, moved them out of Hong Kong, out of Bangkok, out of Manila, Singapore, and we consolidated them, brought them back here. And to facilitate this process, we bought a building in Petaring Jaya. So we have this 16, 17-story building, and in PJ that we are now bringing all our various functions and departments together. Before I even begin to, start the business, before I even begin to look at, what business I'm going to do, what product I'm going to start and all of that, I need to be finding the person responsible. People are critical to this process. People make this process possible. So when I find the right person, then I take my chances on him or her. It's not about the company. Very rarely about the product. It's more about the person.
We always believed in quality above quantity, and Dato has always taught us to be very particular about how we develop the business. I joined the company in the year 2000. Dato Vijay opened this Malaysian office as his second office worldwide. Today, after 10 years, we have over 20 offices globally. We have various subsidiary companies which are public listed. Our database of customers number 6 million people worldwide in about 180 over countries. We've had our ups and downs, and very much the leadership of Dato Vijay was what really saw us through, because as much as I've worked for him for the last 10 years, he's never made me feel like an employee. So he's always been a driving force, motivational figure, and he really led by example, because and that's hard to come by.
Another reason why I'm grateful for my relationship with Dato Vijay is the fact that he is a man who truly believes in the gift, in the talent, in the good in people, and that he has espoused in his mission, life mission, which is rhythm, raise yourself to help mankind. He's done that first with himself by truly pushing the boundaries and continuously pushing himself to become better, and therefore by association I don't have any choice but also try to follow suit and also get better myself. And so I must say that this past 12 years that I have known and closely worked with Dato Vijay, I have experienced such a life-changing
in Malaysia, the Chinese tend to follow the Chinese, the Indians tend to follow the Indians, but to me, basically it is a lot about the values that Dato Vijay carries. Now, Dato Vijay is a person of the world, and he carries a value of giving back, of reaching out to people. And that value itself really helps me to take him as a mentor, to take him as a person of the world. So he crosses borders, he has touched millions of lives around the world, and people follow him not because of race, but he surpasses all the creed, color, and religion and nation.
Like the AFC Champions League, QNet also provides a platform that allows our partners to achieve big. Now you too can dream, perform, achieve. QNet, official direct selling supporter of the AFC Champions League.
When we sponsored 2 IBF World Badminton Championships, one in Birmingham and one in Madrid, we did so because, one, as a Malaysian, I am proud to be able to contribute towards the sport where Malaysia has excelled in for many years.
Is there any way of relating this to global branding?
Absolutely. It's all about recognizing the group, the QI group and the brand. And badminton had fantastic coverage across the world, India and China being 2 of the major nations. And so we decided to do that, and the same thing we did with GP2. Primarily it's about establishing ourselves on a global platform so that people recognize the group wherever they see it.
This is the second time that we have done this. Well, our association with badminton goes way back to when we launched in Indonesia. I am a personal fan of Rudy Hartono and Dato, 2 of my great icons when I was growing up. As Dato Azalina mentioned earlier, a lot of entire generation grew up on these people. Every time Punch Kunal, Dato Punch met Rudy Hartono, it was a legendary event. And so it was in great awe that I was standing between the 2 of them in Jakarta one day. And that resulted eventually in the QI group sponsoring the first event. But today, we are talking about the first time the QI group, as a Malaysian company, is making it a Malaysian world-class IBF tournament. And that is the essential difference.
How are the activities of QI, of the Rhythm Foundation, has impacted the community?
In Malaysia, Rhythm Foundation is basically represented by the Vijay Foundation, which is named after my father. And basically Vijay Foundation has sent out right now over a few hundred students to study primarily medicine, but also engineering and law and so on throughout the world. We send them, to places like to the Soviet Union. To Russia today. We've sent them across to Indonesia, to India. In fact, some students have even won a scholarship to go and study in the UK. And the foundation has sent out a few hundred students on student loans and scholarships. Now, over and above of that, we have worked with many of the local organizations here, youth organizations, social organizations, and it is part of, us giving back to the community, giving back to, the land.
Both me and my husband, Dato Vijay, I think we both come from families who's always given back to the society. So I think we grew up always seeing people walking in and out of house and for some help or the other from our parents. So I think that was the foundation for both of us. So this foundation itself was started by Dato to continue the philanthropic work that has been done by his father, Mr. Vijay.
Dato, how do you balance your spirituality and entrepreneurship at the same time? And how important do you think for one to acquire the fundamentals of spirituality in life?
I find that spirituality and entrepreneurship are not contrarian to each other. As a matter of fact, I find that the same daring, dedication, devotion, determination that you bring into spirituality, you're going to require in entrepreneurship, and vice versa. As a matter of fact, to be truly successful as an entrepreneur, you need patience, perseverance, persistence, and these three qualities are equally important in spirituality. So the transition from being an entrepreneur to being spiritual is really not that too difficult. There's nothing incongruous about it. As a matter of fact, I have found that most people who are truly successful materially tend to be spiritual at some level or another. And for me, work is worship.
Our life, our style, our way of living has always had a religious base. Right from small, we have had a religious base in our home. In our house, you enter our home, you will see photographs of great men, photographs of our deities, a prayer room. There is a nice feeling. All these were always there in the house to remind you directly or indirectly. So I wanted this inculcated so that no person having stepped into my home should go in the wrong way. We must realize that there is goodness in every home, and goodness can be brought to every home. It is a duty of everyone to maintain that atmosphere. Then we will progress.
As we grew up around the age of 10 plus, when we were in Trenganu, in the town called Dungan, and we were staying in these houses just opposite to the beach, but it were government houses with a government, but they give us this dressing table where they have this complete set and made of glass. And as he was talking after dinner with his younger brother, and we were in the other room, and all was sort of 8:30 like that. And these two were talking, and all suddenly we heard a big scream, and we came running, and there was blood down, and we saw his leg bleeding, and some friends came. There were some doctor's house opposite also. Whichever way, they all came and helped and took him straight away to get stitch done. The younger brother was there. Then I asked him what happened, and he said, "Oh, Anna was telling." Anna means in Tamil, that's brother. So he says, "Oh, my brother was telling a lot of stories, and I was listening to him." Suddenly he said, "When I become the king of the world," and raised his hand and banged the table. That's all I remember. As he banged, the glass broke, and one of the piece hit his leg, and that was bleeding quite heavily. So that is how we know. But I was shocked because I said, for him to think not only the king of a country or a village, but to be king of the world, I was really laughing at that time. So, but I thought his goal is very high to have thought like that.
Do it alone, just with you, my friend. Climbing on a mountain so far and high, reaching to the flag that I desire, just because of the hope and trust you taught me. I'll never fall. Standing in the middle of a mist so cold, and I'm trying to go back home. You came with a blanket, came with a hug, and I'm breathing no more. Together now, bringing us closer and closer, like never before. Hope is shining through, and I know it's true. Watching with a vision, where's it heading to?
would always be the person that came up with the best ideas, the best plans. He would always be the one that taught us what to do and how to do it, even then when we were 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. So every school holiday we would look forward in going to see Dato Vijay. But to what he has become today is phenomenal. I cannot even imagine the pinnacle that he has reached in his lifetime, and all of us are given the opportunity to share that with him.
Mahatma Gandhi, I don't look at him precisely as spiritual, although he is intensely spiritual, but to me he is a mentor who has been a mentor to my father and grandfather. So you might say Parampara Guru. And because of the fact that they all looked up to him, he is in essence the spiritual grandfather of my household. And I grew up with Gandhiji. I grew up with Gandhiji's photographs all over the place. I grew up with his sayings. I have intensely read up on him. And Gandhi is the cultural icon for India per se, spiritual icon, but he is also our company's corporate icon. Mahatma Gandhi represents the unifying force amongst all the directors. When we came together in 1998, the founders of the company came basically from 8 different countries, 8 different passports, 12 of us, and yet none of us came from India, and yet every single one of us respected, admired, virtually venerated. He is uniquely a man of the millennium, a man of the world.
So there is a saying that behind every successful man, there is a woman.
Yes.
So could you please tell us about your other half, that in
She is more than my other half. She is, in fact, she completes me. She makes me whole. She is the, inspiration that drives me. Not that that is means that there is a supreme harmony, in the existence. It means that we discuss a lot, we argue a lot, but she continues to be the things that I am not, and that brings balance into who I am today. And many times along the way, our path has not been easy. We had to struggle. At the very beginning, when I chose to walk away from a 9-to-5 job and start my own business per se, she basically, stood by my decision. She stood by me. She's always stood by me. And it is a powerful thing to have another person who shares her strengths with you. And therefore, you actually, I think the greatest thing I could say about her is that she is my best friend. Tonight we're going to talk about passion. If she has a passion for beauty and she has a passion for excellence, she also has a passion to do service. And that's exceptional, that I have learned from over the years as well. And she does it without expectation.
I was happy with simple things, and his ambitions were big. And I always thought, because we were simple people, we started from the ground, working for someone. You are happy just being able to go to the stalls, go kopitiam. Those are simple things that I was happy with, and he was too. But I was always thought that I mean, his ambitions were so big. I mean, how are we going to get? But he was always so focused. He knew what he wanted. And you know, you always, as a woman, you're being very practical, and you're thinking, okay, what's that? And I never knew why. I knew that he can get there because that much of determination that he always had, and with all the ups and downs that we have gone through and all the sacrifices he's made, I think end of the day for both of us, it's not about just success and money. It's also about who you are and the satisfaction that gives us by changing the lives of hundreds and thousands of people out there. And he's actually a very simple man. For all that he is when he's as a corporate person, he just comes home and he still wants his favorite food on the table, and he wants all of us with him, and we are still talking simple things and enjoying those simple things in life. And he is my best friend.
Is something wrong with him or with me? Who's crazy? So if you don't have enough trouble, then you are in trouble. The difference between a good salesman and a great salesman is the number of times he has been rejected. If you get challenges along the way that challenge you, then recognize it as a gift. Group work is not about the floor, it is about yourself. If that is being crazy, then that's what you should do.
Dear viewers, hope the very versatile Dr. Vijay Eswaran's journey to success has truly inspired you. A journey inspired by a disciplined and spiritual lifestyle with strong Gandhian principles. See you with another episode of Success Story. I am Vani Tyagarajan for Vechi Kodikattu.